The social media supermarket. If one visits a grocery store, very highly compressed, one could say there is lots of crap in the supermarket. Products that no one actually needs. Like here's cereal, but with 20 grams of sugar. Here is yogurt, but it tastes like strawberry on a summer evening. Given that there are different actors, and these different actors benefit from a marginal increase in traffic or attention, then one could say the overarching optimization these agents are restricted to, or have to oblige by, is to increase attention, to increase the marginal utility. One could also imagine competing bakeries. The first bakery had bread. The second bakery figured out if they put a little bit of sugar in it, they sell more bread. Then the first bakery again finds out about the second bakery and the sugar trick. So they also put sugar in it. And so now if you buy toast in a supermarket, there is added sugar in the toast. So social media now is kind of the ultimate supermarket turning into a candy store. And the question is, how does one potentially combat this? The rise of podcast is actually, I think, a very interesting phenomenon. Maybe one of the most important distinctions one can make here is whether people use primary or secondary time for their social media consumption or podcast consumption. I define primary time as the thing one actually is doing, one has to do, and one cannot not do. So if I'm dishwashing, I have to wash the dishes. Unless maybe in a couple of years a Tesla bot does this job, I still have to do it myself. So secondary time I would define as something one can do in addition to primary tasks, where the primary task is more on the side of routines. This leaves some RAM for basically layering a secondary activity over the first activity. And this now could be listening to podcasts, audiobooks, etc. Or just plain old thinking about things. So podcast, I think, usually is in the second spot. But if podcast is video, then often it takes the first spot. And these two different spots, primary and secondary time, also kind of come with different expectations. If I want to know how I fix my bike chain, then it's usually primary time. I'm not preloading knowledge just to then potentially find out 5 years later that this knowledge preloading was useful. So video is probably watched in both times. When I'm actually cooking or when I'm eating, then I'm sometimes watching YouTube. And here, the candy optimization is maybe not so necessary, because maybe people come more for the social experience of listening to other people talk, and it's less information based. Now, of course, the primary activity also is not always information based, but it just needs to provide more value abstractly speaking, because it also could be emotionally charged and thus kind of provide value or be entertaining or funny. In total, one could call this